Okay, let's unpack this. Have you ever found yourself making a financial decision that, looking back, just didn't quite make sense?
Hmm.
Perhaps you've tried diligently to save or maybe to invest, but it felt like there was some invisible force, maybe some internal resistance, just holding you back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Today, we're diving deep into the intricate, often surprising world of how we truly make our financial decisions. It's far more than just numbers on a spreadsheet.
It really is. And what's truly fascinating here is how traditional economic models have for so long operated on this assumption that we are perfectly rational actors.
Right, the logical human.
Exactly, that we meticulously weigh every single cost and every benefit, always choosing the optimal path for, maximum gain. But as our diverse range of sources profoundly reveal, the human reality is far more complex, richer, and frankly, much more interesting.
Definitely more interesting.
Your financial choices are never made in isolation. They're deeply shaped by long-held beliefs, subtle psychological biases, and the very environment that surrounds you. This deep dive aims to illuminate these often hidden factors, making the unseen seen.
Yeah, that point about our choices not being in isolation is so key. The mission of this deep dive is to synthesize insights from a really broad range of perspectives. I mean, everything from cutting-edge behavioral economics and ancient Stoic philosophy to tried-and-true practical wealth-building strategies.
That's a great mix.
Our goal is to give you a comprehensive understanding of what truly drives your financial behavior, and maybe more importantly, how you can consciously take control to cultivate not just lasting wealth, but genuine peace of mind. We've pulled from 10 exercises to create an abundance mindset for lasting wealth from Real Wealth. 7 simple steps to build personal wealth from Investopedia, critical insights on behavioral economics from EY, the Stoic path to wealth from Bookie, and the impact of your environment on your financial decisions from Thrifty Owl. So let's get into it. We're going to start our exploration with a foundational concept, one that surprisingly often gets overlooked in financial discussions. It comes from our Real Wealth source, the profound difference between an abundance mindset and a scarcity mindset.
Ah, yes, this is crucial.
This is where it gets genuinely interesting, I think, because it really sets the stage for every other financial decision we make throughout our lives. The Real Wealth article emphasizes that this isn't just about, fluffy positive thinking.
It's not just wishful thinking.
Exactly. It's a powerful, almost foundational framework for how you perceive and interact with money and opportunities.
It truly is. An abundance mindset, as defined by Real Wealth, is rooted in the belief that you are enough and the world has enough to offer you at all times.
That's a powerful belief.
It is. It's a deep internal conviction that sparks creativity, fuels gratitude for what you already possess, and crucially, allows you to recognize and act upon opportunities rather than feeling limited by them. This mindset naturally cultivates healthy investing behaviors because you perceive opportunities as, boundless. For instance, the Real Wealth article illustrates this by suggesting that with an abundance mindset, you'd inherently feel that real estate opportunities are endless and eagerly await your discovery.
Wow, okay.
You genuinely believe in boundless potential for wealth, financial freedom, and economic independence. This feeling isn't passive, though. It puts you in an emotional state of receptiveness, almost as if money naturally flows to you because you're open to receiving it.
Okay.
When someone embodies an abundance mindset, their internal and external narratives reflect this openness. They might say something like, okay, I've done my due diligence and this investment makes a lot of sense. I'm excited by its potential.
Right.
Or maybe there are tons of opportunities out there, even if this particular one doesn't work out. Or even a simple, I'm grateful for this opportunity to learn and grow, regardless of the immediate outcome. They genuinely see possibilities everywhere and are, eager to explore them.
That sounds incredibly liberating, honestly, almost like a mental superpower. But then there's the flip side, right? The scarcity mindset. What does that perspective look and feel like, and how does it manifest in our financial lives?
Well, the scarcity mindset is its direct opposite, and it's far more common than many of us realize. It's characterized by feeling chronically limited, constantly worrying about the unknown, and a deep-seated belief that opportunities are few, finite, and fleeting.
That sounds stressful.
It is. This perspective fosters a pervasive sense of zero-sum thinking, the idea that resources are fixed, and therefore one person's gain inherently comes at another's expense. If someone else succeeds, it means there's less for you.
Right, like a fixed pie.
Exactly. The Real Wealth source highlights that this mindset actively cripples self-belief makes sustained focus nearly impossible and stifles any genuine effort towards achieving significant objectives. Fear becomes the dominant daily emotion, influencing self-talk and action, effectively holding you captive.
Wow.
Individuals trapped in this mindset often cling to what they perceive as the safest options, like the traditional 9-to-5 grind and a predictable salary.
The comfort zone, maybe?
Right, but this preference, ironically, often leads to them feeling perpetually trapped in the rat race, constantly striving but rarely feeling like they're getting ahead. They make the critical mistake of believing that the resources necessary for creating a rich, abundant future are severely limited.
Okay.
This deep-seated fear frequently manifests as an acute reluctance to invest in themselves, whether through coaching, educational seminars, or exploring new income streams. They often dismiss such avenues outright as a scam, too risky, or simply not worth the money.
Close off to possibility.
Very much so. Their internal narratives are dominated by doubt and constraint. Oh, there's too much competition. I'm too late to the game. I'm just not comfortable making any big moves. Or the classic, I'm afraid now just isn't the right time. They tend to view successful people not as an inspiration, but sometimes as a direct threat, fueling envy rather than aspiration.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture, this isn't merely about positive thinking or just changing your mood for a bit. It directly impacts whether you even begin the journey of building wealth.
Absolutely.
The Real Wealth article really hammers this home, stating that mindset is the #1 biggest reason people don't even start investing in something like real estate, despite its potential. It's about moving from feeling inherently limited to genuinely seeing a world full of possibilities.
Exactly. And that shift is everything.
Think about the illustrative story from the Real Wealth source about Veronica the waitress. She was intelligent, capable, clearly worthy of more, but years just slipped by where nothing in her career changed. All because of her persistent internal doubts.
Self-sabotage almost.
Right. She'd dream, but her actions were just riddled with doubt and hesitation. The author, who was her friend, would consistently encourage her to envision more, to really imagine her desired reality and the positive feelings that would come with achieving it.
That external encouragement can be so powerful.
It really was. This consistent encouragement became the powerful fuel for Veronica. She eventually gathered the courage to pursue her real estate license. She signed up, passed the test, and, as the source proudly states, has never served another Cobb salad again.
That's a fantastic outcome.
Isn't it? This anecdote powerfully emphasizes how a fundamental shift in perception, coupled with consistent intentional action, can unlock entirely new financial and life trajectories.
That's a truly profound illustration of mindset in action.
Right.
So as you listen to this, maybe take a moment to reflect on your own internal dialogue. Which of these narratives, abundance or scarcity, sounds most like your dominant inner voice?
Yeah, that's a good exercise.
Do you typically see new opportunities and feel an eager excitement? Or do you tend to view successful people as maybe a threat to your own limited share? Understanding this internal landscape is, without a doubt, the very first critical step towards consciously reshaping your financial future.
Definitely. Now, beyond these broad mindsets of abundance or scarcity, our EY source on behavioral economics reveals even more intricate layers to our financial decision-making process. We often think we're perfectly rational beings, right? Meticulously weighing every pro and con before making a choice.
The ideal economic human.
Exactly. But the reality is our psychology has some fascinating, deeply ingrained shortcuts and biases that can subtly, and sometimes not so subtly, steer our financial choices in directions that aren't always aligned with our best interests.
This is such a crucial distinction that really revolutionized economic thought. Traditional economic theory, as we noted, posits that consumers are essentially hyper-rational calculators. They analyze all available information, perform a detailed cost-benefit analysis, and then, with perfect logic, choose the product or service that offers the absolute best value for money.
It sounds neat, but not very human.
Exactly. It's a neat, tidy model, but far from human reality. Behavioral economics, conversely, challenges this by conclusively demonstrating that human psychology profoundly influences our decisions, frequently overriding pure rationality. This raises a truly important question for us all. Why do we so often act directly against our own clear long-term financial interests?
Yeah, why do we do that?
It's not usually a lack of intelligence, but often a result of these inherent biases we all share.
And the EY source gives us some really compelling examples of these biases in action. One that immediately jumps out and probably impacts many of us is present bias.
Oh, present bias, yes. This is a big one. It's the compelling tendency to prefer a smaller, immediate reward over a greater, yet delayed, future one.
Like candy now versus more candy later.
Pretty much. For instance, put simply, most of us would choose to receive, say, $10 today rather than $15 tomorrow. What's particularly intriguing, though, and shows the nuance of this bias, is that if both rewards are pushed out into the distant future, like $10 in 1 year versus $15 in 1 year, and one day, most people typically have no issue waiting the extra day for the larger sum.
That's interesting.
It is, isn't it? This clearly illustrates how immediate gratification, fueled by impatience, disproportionately influences our short-term financial choices, often at the expense of our long-term goals. The EY source highlights a survey that perfectly showcases this. Nearly half of millennials surveyed prioritized eating in good restaurants over saving for retirement.
Wow.
And a staggering 27% admitted to spending more on coffee each month than they managed to save for their future. This powerfully demonstrates how fleeting, immediate pleasures can significantly trump critical long-term financial security.
That's a stark, almost uncomfortable reminder of how those seemingly small daily choices can really accumulate into significant long-term impacts. Another interesting one that influences how we perceive risk is availability heuristics.
Right, availability heuristics. This refers to our tendency to judge the probability or frequency of an event based on how easily examples, images, or experiences come to mind.
So what's easy to remember feels more likely.
Exactly. Our memory, personal experiences, and especially media exposure play a huge, often subconscious role. The EY source provides a vivid, almost surprising example. If you were asked to quickly think of a dangerous animal, most people immediately picture a shark.
Jaws effect.
Totally. This is likely due to pervasive media portrayals, like blockbuster movies or sensationalized news stories about shark attacks. However, the data tells a different story. In 2019, sharks were responsible for only 4 deaths in the U.S. Well, perhaps shockingly, cows cause 22 deaths annually.
Cows.
Really. This bias means we often misjudge actual risks based on vivid, easily recalled, but statistically unrepresentative examples. In the financial world, this can translate into misinformed investment decisions based on sensationalized headlines, or maybe a friend's dramatic stock story, rather than objective, comprehensive data.
That makes sense. And then there's the paradox of choice, which suggests that when we're presented with an overwhelming number of options, it can actually paralyze us and prevent us from making any decision.
Precisely. This bias describes a situation where, when faced with an overwhelming or excessively complex number of choices, customers tend to postpone taking any action at all or even abandon the decision entirely.
Analysis paralysis.
That's it. The EY source notes that this is particularly evident in the financial services industry, especially with complex investment products. Limiting options, conversely, can be highly effective in driving action. A seminal 2003 experiment by Iyengar, cited in the source, powerfully demonstrated a significant increase in 401k enrollment rates when the number of available investment choices was substantially reduced.
Fewer choices led to more action.
Exactly. This proves that a simpler, clearer path often leads to much better participation and engagement.
Okay, and finally, mental accounting. This explains why we treat different pots of money differently, even though fundamentally they're all just money.
Yes, mental accounting. This bias describes our innate tendency to assign different spending rules or subjective values to money based on its source or its intended use, essentially creating distinct mental compartments for different funds.
Like fun money versus bill money.
Exactly like that.
Yeah.
For example, you might spend your regular monthly salary with a certain level of frugality, but then treat an unexpected bonus or a tax refund as found money, spending it much more freely, even though both are just cash in your account.
Guilty.
We all are, likely. Or, as the EY source explains, you might meticulously put money we really need into secure low-risk deposits, allocate other monies into funds with slightly higher risk, and then set aside a small amount into shares explicitly to play around with. This compartmentalization can lead to irrational investment decisions because the money's perceived compartment, rather than a cohesive overall financial strategy, dictates its risk appetite and how it's managed.
What's truly fascinating here is not just how these biases show up in our everyday financial lives, but how consciously understanding them allows us to take control.
That's the empowering part.
Right. Companies already leverage this knowledge quite effectively in their marketing and product design. For instance, the source mentions how providing personalized recommendations to hesitant clients by eliminating overconfidence through objective data,
Hmm.
especially if that data is relatable to their peers, home area, or daily life, can be incredibly effective.
Yeah.
This is precisely how businesses apply behavioral economics to guide financial choices.
It's smart business. Think about how insurance products are often offered in bundles like good, better, or best cover, rather than as highly customizable, overwhelming options. That directly reduces the paradox of choice for the consumer.
Makes it easier to decide.
Exactly. Similarly, intuitive profiling tools are used for life insurance recommendations to make the concept of an insured amount more tangible for the client, perhaps by suggesting it as a multiple of their monthly salary rather than just a large abstract lump sum.
Right, makes it relatable.
This demonstrates that even though we are inherently prone to these biases, we can learn to recognize them, maybe leverage external tools, or adopt structured approaches to make significantly more rational and aligned financial decisions.
Okay, so this naturally raises an important question for us all. Given that our minds are so prone to these shortcuts and, external pressures, how do we actually build the mental resilience needed for truly sound, long-term financial decisions?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It really is. Our source, The Stoic Path to Wealth, offers a powerful, ancient philosophy that is surprisingly relevant for modern financial challenges, with a strong emphasis on emotional mastery. So, what does this ancient wisdom mean for our investments and our approach to money?
Well, the core principles of Stoicism, as eloquently outlined at the Bookie source, really boil down to a fundamental understanding of what we can and cannot control. This distinction is paramount.
Okay, control versus no control.
Precisely. We have direct, absolute control over our own actions, our beliefs, and our judgments, how we choose to perceive and react to the world. Conversely, we do not control external factors like other people's opinions, unpredictable market fluctuations, global events, or unexpected accidents.
Right, all the stuff that causes anxiety.
Exactly. The Stoic philosophy powerfully suggests that a significant amount of human mental and financial distress stems directly from worrying about these uncontrollable elements. By consciously focusing our energy and attention solely on what's within our sphere of control, we can cultivate profound inner peace and make far more deliberate, effective choices.
So it's about the response.
Yes, the emphasis is entirely on our response to situations, rather than being passively dictated by what happens to us. The ultimate Stoic goal is to live purposefully in the present, free from debilitating anxiety about an uncertain future.
And this philosophical approach becomes incredibly pertinent, almost indispensable, when we merge Stoicism with the practical realities of investing.
It really does. Contrary to a common misconception, Stoicism doesn't advocate for asceticism or a rejection of money or wealth. Instead, it champions ethical wealth accumulation.
So it's okay to want wealth.
Absolutely. Epictetus, one of the most prominent Stoic philosophers, didn't dismiss material prosperity, but suggested pursuing money honestly and with integrity, allowing for ambition without ever sacrificing one's character or peace of mind.
Okay.
At its heart, self-discipline and delayed gratification are cornerstones of Stoic living, and these are, coincidentally, also the absolute bedrock of effective financial success and investing.
Delayed gratification again, like beating present bias.
Exactly. Investing in oneself today, whether it's developing new skills, pursuing further education, or cultivating wisdom, perfectly aligns with this principle, leading to future growth and greater earning potential.
That brings us to emotional mastery, which the source highlights as absolutely crucial for success, particularly in the volatile world of investing.
Yes, crucial. The author of The Stoic Path to Wealth, Darius Foreau, had a powerful personal turning point in 2017. He candidly shares that after experiencing significant personal losses and setbacks during the tumultuous 2008 financial crisis.
Oof, tough time.
Very. He came to a profound realization. Successful investing wasn't just about accumulating knowledge, understanding market dynamics, or picking the right stocks. It was equally, if not more, about effectively managing his own emotions, his psychological responses to fear and greed.
That's a huge insight. It's not just about knowing, it's about doing emotionally.
Precisely. That's a truly profound insight that resonates with so many investors. Foreau identifies key challenges in investing that are directly tied to our emotional vulnerabilities. First, volatility, where our emotional responses can complicate rational decision-making, leading to panic selling or irrational exuberance.
Buying high, selling low.
The classic mistake. Second, consistency, as the sheer volume of information and distractions in the market can hinder the disciplined execution of a long-term strategy. And third, the paralyzing effect of prior losses, where the fear stemming from past mistakes can lead investors to freeze up, avoid opportunities, or make overly cautious, suboptimal choices.
Yeah, getting burned makes you shy.
Understandably, building a stoic edge in investing means actively cultivating emotional resilience against these powerful forces of fear and greed. It involves recognizing and challenging unfounded emotional reactions, committing steadfastly to long-term investment strategies, and understanding that market fluctuations are simply part of the game, not personal attacks.
So how do you actually do that?
Well, 4.0 outlines 3 incredibly practical steps to building wealth through a stoic edge. First, investing in yourself, which means continuously enhancing your knowledge, skills, and even your health, as these are your most valuable assets.
Okay, continuous improvement. Second, accepting loss. Understanding that losses are an inherent, unavoidable part of investing and shouldn't cause panic or deter you from your strategy. They are simply feedback.
Learn from it, don't fear it.
Exactly. And third, letting results compound. Trusting in the long-term growth of your investments without constant intervention, allowing the magic of compounding interest to work its slow, powerful magic.
Patience.
Patience and discipline. For example, the Stoic principle of maintaining composure during severe market downturns can be summarized as never let them see you sweat. It actively encourages resisting impulsive, fear-driven reactions during market crashes, like those witnessed in 2008 or during the initial panic of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Easier said than done sometimes.
Absolutely. Which is why it's underpinned by the practical wisdom of ensuring that funds allocated for investment are not needed for immediate expenses, relying instead on a robust emergency fund. This mental detachment allows you to ride out the storm. The story of Cathie Wood, famously cited in The Stoic Path to Wealth, really exemplifies these principles of emotional mastery and resilience in action, doesn't it?
It really does.
There.
Despite experiencing a massive 85% drop in her assets under management during the devastating 2000 dot-com crash
85%, wow.
and facing periods of initial underperformance for her funds, she steadfastly stuck to her long-term vision and investment philosophy. Her incredible resilience and unwavering commitment to her strategy, even in the face of such significant setbacks and public scrutiny, ultimately led to tremendous success, particularly in the exponential growth year of 2020.
That's conviction.
It is. This story powerfully showcases how Stoic principles of emotional control, patience, and unwavering consistency can yield profound results over time, demonstrating that true success often comes not from avoiding downturns, but from how you respond to them.
So we've thoroughly explored what's happening inside our heads, the mindsets and biases that shape our money habits. But it's equally important to acknowledge that it's also the world around us, right?
Absolutely. The external factors are huge.
Our Thrifty Owl source sheds illuminating light on how profoundly our external environment impacts our financial choices. The core idea here is that your financial decisions are never made in a vacuum. They're powerfully shaped by social influences, broader economic conditions, the ingrained financial habits you observed and learned from your family, and even the subtle culture of your workplace.
That's absolutely correct, and it's a dimension often overlooked. One of the most pervasive and impactful external factors is social influence and peer pressure.
Ah, the Joneses.
Exactly. The Thrifty Owl article keenly points out the classic keeping up with the Joneses phenomenon. If your closest friends constantly frequent expensive restaurants, jet off on lavish Instagram-worthy vacations, or are always upgrading to the latest, priciest gadgets, you might feel an undeniable, often subconscious compulsion to mimic that behavior.
Yeah, FOMO is real.
It is. And this can lead to significant financial strain, or worse, accumulating unsustainable debt. Conversely, the influence can be incredibly positive. If you consciously choose to surround yourself with people who prioritize saving, investing, and making prudent financial decisions, you are far more likely to naturally adopt and internalize those positive habits yourself. It's a powerful feedback loop.
And this isn't just anecdotal observation, there's robust research behind it, right?
There is. The Understanding and Evaluating Peer Effect on Financial Decision-Making Process study from the Journal of Positive School Psychology explicitly states that financial decision-making is very much affected by peer effects. It highlights that individuals are significantly influenced by friends, relatives, neighbors, and colleagues.
So our network really matters.
Hugely. Empirical evidence conclusively shows that individual behavior is influenced by peers, particularly when people feel uncertain or immature about complex financial decisions. What's even more fascinating for a broader context is that less successful firms tend to mimic successful ones, especially during economic crises, indicating a reliance on peer behavior when confidence is low.
Interesting. Safety in numbers, maybe?
Perhaps. Furthermore, consistent communication with peers is strongly linked to higher profitability, suggesting that healthy peer relationships can be a source of valuable information and strategic insights, not just pressure to consume. This really underscores the importance of choosing your inner circle wisely.
Definitely. Another deeply significant and often inherited factor is family and cultural money beliefs.
Oh yes, the stuff we pick up as kids. The financial behaviors you observed and absorbed during childhood, whether your family emphasized diligent saving and careful budgeting, or if money was a consistent source of stress, conflict, or mismanagement, profoundly shape your adult financial habits and attitudes. These patterns can be incredibly ingrained.
Hard to shake off sometimes.
Very. Additionally, broader cultural influences play a substantial role. In some cultures, financial independence and early wealth accumulation are strongly encouraged and celebrated from a young age, while in others there might be a deep-seated, often beautiful, expectation to financially support an extended family, which naturally impacts individual saving and investing capacity.
Different pressures, different priorities.
Exactly. Understanding these ingrained, often subconscious patterns is absolutely crucial for making intentional financial choices that serve your best interests, rather than simply following inherited, potentially unhelpful patterns without question.
And of course, beyond our immediate social and familial circles, the broader economic conditions and cost of living also play a massive, undeniable role in our financial reality.
Indeed. The geographical location where you choose to live directly and significantly impacts your income potential, your ability to save, and your overall investing needs. For example, if you reside in a high cost of living area, think major metropolitan cities, a much larger portion of your income will be necessarily allocated to basic, non-negotiable expenses like housing, transportation, and food.
Leaves less room for saving.
And nearly. This makes it much harder to consistently save and invest significant amounts. Macroeconomic factors such as prevailing inflation rates, the availability of stable jobs, and fluctuating interest rates also profoundly influence your financial caution or your willingness to spend and invest.
Yeah, you feel it when prices go up.
Right. During periods of economic downturn or high inflation, people naturally become more conservative with their spending and investment, whereas a booming economy with low unemployment might encourage more consumer spending and risk-taking in investments. Being acutely aware of these larger systemic factors allows you to adjust your personal financial strategy proactively, rather than being sort of a passive victim of circumstances.
This brings us to a really important question for you, the listener. How aware are you truly of these powerful external forces influencing your financial decisions?
It requires some honest reflection.
It does.
Yeah.
The Thrifty Owl source deeply encourages developing this critical financial awareness by prompting you to ask yourself probing questions. Are your purchases genuine needs, or are they primarily reactions to social pressure from your peers or the media? Do your current financial habits, the ones you enact day in and day out, truly serve your long-term best interests? And, most critically, does your spending today genuinely align with your long-term financial goals and aspirations?
Tough questions, but necessary.
They really are. It's about being intentional, not just reactive to the currents around you. The peer effect research we mentioned earlier powerfully highlights that while peer influence is undeniably strong, especially for those feeling less successful or uncertain, blindly imitating others without proper study and critical discernment can actually lead to significant losses.
Right. Don't just copy without thinking.
Exactly. This emphasizes the vital importance of critical thinking. You need to discern why your peers are doing something, if their approach is genuinely applicable to your unique financial situation, and if it aligns with your values, rather than just blindly following the herd. Okay, so we've dissected the internal forces, our mindsets and biases, and the external pressures from our environment. Now that we understand these fundamental influences at play, let's turn our attention to the concrete, actionable playbook.
Let's get practical.
Our Investopedia source lays out 7 simple yet incredibly powerful steps anyone can take to systematically build personal wealth. This isn't about quick fixes or overnight riches. It's explicitly a marathon, not a sprint, and it demands consistent effort and unwavering discipline.
That's a perfect framing for it. The core principles emphasized by Investopedia are unequivocally clear. Building lasting wealth takes time, focused effort, and disciplined execution. And the undeniable truth, thanks to the exponential power of compounding, is that the earlier you begin this journey, the better your chances of achieving substantial success.
So what's the very first foundational step to lay the groundwork? Where do we start?
The foundational step number one is to, one, earn money. This might sound inherently obvious, but it's an undeniable truth. You cannot save or invest effectively without a consistent income stream.
Gotta have fuel for the engine.
Precisely. Investopedia outlines two primary ways to earn. First, earned income from your traditional job, a side hustle, or a business you operate. And second, passive income, which is money generated from investments or businesses that require minimal ongoing effort once established.
Okay.
To truly maximize your earning potential, the source suggests you align your work with what you genuinely enjoy. Studies consistently show that more than 9 out of 10 workers would willingly trade higher earnings for a greater sense of meaning and purpose in their work.
Money isn't everything.
It seems not. You should also strategically leverage your unique strengths and research diverse career options using comprehensive tools like the Occupational Outlook Handbook. A crucial tip here for increasing human capital, your innate earning capacity, is to invest in your education and skills, whether that's formal schooling, certifications, or specialized training.
Sharpen the saw.
Exactly. However, always approach this strategically and be mindful of potential student loan debt, ensuring the return on investment justifies the cost.
Good point. Okay, once you're consistently earning, what's the logical next step in building that wealth foundation?
The second step is to two, set goals and develop a plan. This is where vague aspirations transform into concrete objectives. Clear, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, what we call SMART goals, are absolutely essential.
SMART goals, right.
Whether your ultimate aim is to retire early, purchase your dream home, fund your children's college education, or achieve financial independence, defining these goals with precision will provide the essential roadmap for your entire financial strategy. You need to create a concrete, step-by-step plan that includes detailed budgeting, actionable strategies to increase your income further, and investing wisely in assets that will appreciate over time.
So it's not just wishing, it's planning.
Absolutely. And this isn't a static, one-and-done task. Regular review and diligent adjustment are absolutely crucial to ensure you stay on course amidst life's inevitable changes.
Makes sense. And after setting those clear goals, you need to actually start putting money aside, making it a habit, right?
Okay.
Step 3.
Precisely. Step number 3 is to 3. Save money. Earning money, no matter how much, simply won't build wealth if you end up spending it all. Crucially, if you don't already have sufficient funds for your immediate bills or, more importantly, for emergencies, then building this savings buffer must be your top financial priority.
The emergency fund. So important.
Critical. Many financial experts, including Investopedia, recommend having at least 3 to 6 months' worth of essential living expenses saved in an easily accessible liquid account for emergencies. Investopedia offers several practical strategies to achieve this. Begin by meticulously tracking your spending for at least a month. This often reveals surprising areas where your money is truly going.
The latte factor.
Could be. Consciously cut unnecessary wants to free up more cash for saving. Set up automated savings transfers from your checking account to your savings account immediately after you get paid. This pay-yourself-first strategy removes the temptation to spend.
Automation is key.
It really helps. And contribute at least enough to your employer's 401k to get the full matching contribution, as this is essentially free money. Furthermore, utilizing high-yield savings accounts, HYSAs, or certificates of deposit, CDs, can help your savings grow faster than a traditional checking account, offering a better return without significant risk. An important nuance here is that if your core living costs are already minimized and you're still struggling to save, the primary focus should then shift aggressively to increasing your income rather than just trying to cut more.
Right. You can only cut so much. Sometimes you need more income.
Exactly.
Okay, once you have that crucial safety net in place, that emergency fund, that's when you can truly shift into making your money work harder for you. Which brings us to 4, invest money.
Correct. Investing is the engine of long-term wealth creation. It allows your money to grow significantly beyond what a typical savings account can offer, which, as we know, often loses purchasing power over time due to inflation.
Gotta beat inflation.
You do. The most important investing principle, emphasized consistently across financial wisdom, is diversification. Intelligently spreading your money across various asset classes and types of investments to minimize concentrated risk.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
The classic advice, and it's true. Think of it not just as spreading your eggs across different baskets,
Mm.
but strategically combining different types of baskets that behave differently under various market conditions. For example, while stocks, which represent ownership in companies, offer higher growth potential, they also come with higher volatility.
More risk, more potential reward.
Generally, yes. Bonds, on the other hand, are essentially loans to governments or corporations, typically offering lower returns but providing more stability and income, particularly during market downturns. Mutual funds and exchange-traded funds, ETFs, provide built-in diversification by pooling money from many investors to buy a wide range of securities, offering an accessible way to instantly diversify.
Good for beginners.
Often, yes. Generally, younger individuals with a longer time horizon for their investments to recover from market swings can afford to take on more risk in their portfolio. Index funds, like those tracking the S&P 500, are often excellent entry points for new investors due to their broad market exposure and typically lower fees compared to actively managed funds.
Low fees are good.
Very good over the long run. A critical prerequisite, as the source emphasizes, is ensuring you have built up a sufficient emergency savings fund before you begin allocating substantial amounts to investments.
Safety first, then growth.
That's the sequence.
And then once you start building and growing those assets, you absolutely need to protect them. That's 5. Protect your assets.
And absolutely. This step is a non-negotiable part of a robust wealth-building strategy. Insurance is crucial. It acts as a financial safety net, safeguarding your hard-earned assets and future income against unexpected, potentially catastrophic events.
Things you hope never happen, but might.
Exactly. Essential types include homeowners or renters insurance to protect your dwelling and possessions, auto insurance for your vehicles, life insurance to provide financial security for your beneficiaries if you're no longer there to provide, and crucial disability insurance to replace your income if you become unable to work due to illness or injury.
Disability insurance often gets overlooked.
It does, but it's so important for protecting your earning potential. A smart strategy is to consider buying life and disability insurance when you are younger and healthier, as premiums tend to be significantly lower and more cost-effective in the long run.
Cheaper when you're young.
Much cheaper. For instance, a 25-year-old single person will find it much more affordable to buy a substantial life insurance policy than a 35-year-old with a partner, young children, and a mortgage, illustrating the power of starting early.
Okay, makes sense. Taxes are another silent but incredibly significant drain on wealth. How does minimize the impact of taxes fit into this overall strategy?
Taxes are often an overlooked yet powerful drag on your accumulated wealth. It's crucial to proactively understand your tax exposures and develop strategic approaches to minimize their impact over your lifetime.
Keep more of what you earn and grow.
That's the goal. Investopedia suggests several smart strategies. Consistently contribute to tax-advantaged accounts, like 529 college savings plans for education expenses and traditional IRAs and 401ks for retirement. These accounts offer immediate tax deductions on contributions and allow your investments to grow tax-deferred until withdrawal and retirement.
The power of tax deferral.
Huge power. Alternatively, Roth IRAs and Roth 401ks, where contributions are made with after-tax money, offer the significant advantage of completely tax-exempt growth and withdrawals in retirement, provided certain conditions are met.
Pay tax now or later.
Basically. You can also implement tax-efficient investment placement, meaning you might hold growth assets like stocks and taxable brokerage accounts to benefit from lower long-term capital gains rates, and income-generating assets like bonds or REITs in tax-advantaged accounts to shield the regular income from immediate taxation.
Strategic placement.
Exactly. Furthermore, by holding investments for more than a year, you can benefit from lower long-term capital gains tax rates, which are typically more favorable than ordinary income tax rates. The source strongly recommends consulting a qualified tax professional or financial advisor for a personalized strategy, as tax laws are complex and constantly evolving.
Good advice. Probably worth the cost.
100%, yes.
And finally, it all ties into how you manage what you owe, which is 7. Manage debt and build your credit.
Yes, debt. Debt, whether it's from credit cards, mortgages, or auto loans, can certainly be a useful tool for leverage and acquiring assets, but must be managed with extreme care and intentionality.
Good debt versus bad debt.
That's one way to think about it. Taking on too much debt, particularly high-interest consumer debt, can severely impede your wealth-building goals, as interest payments consume capital that could otherwise be invested. Be acutely mindful of your debt-to-income DTI ratio, ensuring that your monthly debt payments are manageable and don't become an overwhelming burden.
Don't get overextended.
Right. Prioritize paying off high-interest debt like credit card balances with double-digit interest rates as quickly as humanly possible, as few investments offer returns high enough to consistently beat these exorbitant interest charges. Also, be wary of variable interest rates on loans that can quickly become unmanageable if market rates rise.
Credit cards are killers.
They can be. Building and maintaining a stellar credit score is absolutely vital, as a strong credit history translates directly to lower interest rates and better loan terms on future mortgages, car loans, or even insurance premiums, saving you thousands of dollars over your lifetime.
Your score really matters.
It truly does. To maintain good credit, consistently pay all your bills on time, every time. Strive to keep your credit utilization, the amount of credit you're using compared to your total available credit, below 30%. Diligently monitor your credit report for any errors or fraudulent activity. And while you should avoid opening too many new accounts rapidly, it's important to open and responsibly manage some accounts to build a robust history.
Keep an eye on that report.
Definitely. The general rule of thumb is if you have high-interest debt, it almost always makes financial sense to pay that off aggressively before you begin investing, as the guaranteed return of eliminating high-cost debt outweighs the speculative returns of most investments.
Pay off the expensive debt first. Got it. This comprehensive 7-step guide from Investopedia provides an incredibly clear and actionable roadmap for anyone looking to build wealth systematically. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it underscores the profound importance of discipline, consistency, and a systematic long-term approach.
It really does.
It's not about being a financial genius or picking the perfect stock, but about making consistent, smart decisions over time. And it's not about being overly rigid either. The discussion about the 90-10 rule of speculation from the Stoic path to wealth also offers an interesting practical approach to balancing risk within this framework.
Yeah, the 90-10 rule.
Right. Invest 90% of your capital in a stable, diversified index fund like the S&P 500, and then use only 10% for higher-risk, speculative investments. This provides a clear, actionable way to engage with the market and maybe even satisfy a bit of that inner gambler without jeopardizing your overall financial security or long-term goals.
It's a structured way to manage that impulse,
Yeah.
which fits well with the Stoic idea of managing emotions, too.
Okay, so we've thoroughly talked about the importance of our inner mindset and then drilled down into the practical, actionable steps to build wealth. Now let's bring it all together. How can the 10 abundance mindset exercises from Real Wealth directly empower us to effectively execute those Investopedia steps? Truly integrating the inner game with the outer game for genuine financial mastery. This is where the rubber meets the road, right?
Exactly. This is truly where the entire framework comes together, providing a powerful synergy. The mindset exercises aren't just feel-good activities or abstract concepts. They are tangible, direct tools designed to enable and sustain concrete financial actions. They address the very root of why we often struggle to follow the practical steps.
Okay, let's walk through them. Let's start with 1. Develop self-awareness. How does that powerful concept of checking your vibe hourly translate into more effective financial decision-making?
Well, by consciously asking yourself, where am I allowing my thoughts, feelings, and actions to take me? On an hourly basis, you cultivate an acute awareness of your habitual patterns, particularly around money.
Tuning in more often.
Exactly. This continuous self-assessment is like moving from being a passive passenger in your financial life into the driver's seat of your financial future. This directly supports Investopedia's step of setting goals because it first requires you to truly understand your current financial reality, including your emotional triggers and psychological state around money.
Knowing where you are before you plan where to go.
Precisely. With that deeper insight, you can set far more realistic, intentional, and emotionally aligned financial objectives that you're much more likely to stick to. You become aware of the subtle ways your mind might be sabotaging your plans.
Okay. And what about 2? Create a daily gratitude practice. How does simply being grateful connect to building wealth? It seems a bit indirect.
It might seem indirect, but it's powerful. Being genuinely grateful for what you have right now, even the seemingly small things like the warmth of your coffee or a healthy breakfast, makes you profoundly more receptive to receiving and attracting more abundance into your life.
Interesting.
This practice actively combats the pervasive scarcity thinking that often paralyzes financial action. By appreciating your current resources, it directly supports the Investopedia step of saving money because it fosters a sense of contentment and appreciation for what you possess, making it significantly easier to hold on to your earnings and find joy in your existing resources, rather than constantly feeling a need to acquire more to fill a void.
So less desire to spend, more appreciation for saving.
Exactly. It shifts your focus from what you lack to what you already have, making you a better steward of your money.
What about 3? Manage your focus, perhaps through something like meditation. How does that disciplined attention lead to better financial outcomes?
The profound truth is, what you focus on expands, and consequently, abundance appears when you start looking for it. Meditative practices, even as simple as focusing on a candle flame or watching clouds for just a minute a day, are powerful training grounds for your attention and mental discipline.
Mental gym.
Kind of. This enhanced focus muscle is absolutely crucial for staying disciplined when investing money. It helps you filter out the relentless noise of short-term market fluctuations, sensationalized news, and social media hype, all of which can lead to impulsive, emotionally driven decisions that derail long-term financial strategies.
Cutting through the noise.
Exactly. By managing your focus, you develop the ability to stick to your plan despite external distractions.
Okay, 4. Shift your perspective. Sounds like it could really help with getting started on some of those bigger financial moves, especially if there's a lot of underlying anxiety.
It absolutely can. Abundant thinking is profoundly cultivated when you consciously manage and proactively shift your perspective. As the source suggests, learning to reframe stress and anxiety into excitement and opportunity, or actively spending time with successful, growth-oriented people whose enthusiasm becomes contagious, can be genuinely transformative.
Energy is contagious.
It really is. This directly addresses the common fears and inertia associated with earning more, or taking that intimidating first step into investing by reframing perceived challenges as exciting opportunities. It's about seeing the problem not as an obstacle, but as a puzzle to solve, or an adventure to embark on.
Okay, and 5. Learn new skills. Always be curious. How does continuous learning translate directly into wealth?
Well, an abundance mentality inherently craves and actively seeks out learning experiences. This daily habit of learning, whether it's reading a relevant book, listening to insightful podcasts like this one, or taking an online course, is fundamentally about continuously building your human capital, your skills, knowledge, and abilities that make you more valuable in the marketplace.
Investing in yourself.
Exactly. This is crucial for earning more by making you more competitive and adaptable in the economy, and unequivocally for investing wisely by providing you with the necessary knowledge to understand complex financial concepts, analyze opportunities, and make informed decisions, rather than relying on guesswork, hot tips, or external advice without critical assessment.
Knowledge is power, financially too. Next, 6. Manage your narrative. This feels incredibly personal, almost like talking to yourself in a new way.
It is profoundly personal and incredibly powerful. Negative self-talk, those persistent inner voices filled with doubt, fear, and self-criticism, can, as the source describes, murder your confidence and systematically destroy your belief in yourself.
That inner critic can be loud.
It can. Learning to consciously quiet that inner chatter that doesn't serve you, and instead cultivating and igniting supportive, empowering narratives directly fuels your confidence. This builds the mental fortitude required to trust your judgment when making significant financial decisions and proactively prevents you from being held back by past financial mistakes or perceived failures when investing or managing debt. You are literally writing a new, more abundant, and capable chapter for yourself.
Rewriting the script. 7. Destroy limiting beliefs sounds like a truly powerful and liberating one. How does that work?
It truly is liberating. Limiting beliefs, often formed from years of repeated thought patterns, act as the very foundation of a home, deeply rooted and seemingly unshakable, yet absolutely reconstructible.
Okay.
The exercise suggests prosecuting these beliefs, like a meticulous lawyer, diligently seeking strong, irrefutable evidence to disprove their validity. As you gather counter-evidence, you can literally watch those limiting beliefs crumble and lose their power over you.
Finding evidence against the belief.
Precisely. This exercise directly empowers you to believe in your fundamental ability to earn more by breaking through self-imposed ceilings on your income, and to invest effectively by shedding doubts about your capacity to understand, manage, and succeed in the financial world. It's about recognizing that your past does not dictate your future potential.
Very empowering. Now 8. Lean into your fears is a bold, almost counterintuitive approach when it comes to something as anxiety-provoking as money.
It is bold, but fear, particularly around money and investing, is often an illusion, a shadow that looms larger in our minds than in reality. The source suggests it's best dispelled by actively facing it head-on.
Dance with the fear.
That's the phrase used. Making an honest list of your financial fears and then consciously dancing with each of them in a controlled way helps you see through their masks and understand their true scope. This is absolutely vital for taking the often intimidating first step in investing, especially for those who feel paralyzed.
Taking that first step is often the hardest.
It really is. It also helps in breaking free from the perceived safety of the 9-to-5 grind and exploring new avenues like entrepreneurship or other new income streams, which often involve an initial leap of faith and confronting the fear of the unknown.
Okay. How about 9? Develop a growth mindset. We hear this term a lot.
We do, and for good reason. A growth mindset is a profound realization that who you are is flexible and malleable. You are never truly stuck or defined by your current skills or circumstances.
You can change, you can learn.
Exactly. If you've never considered yourself a good writer, simply start writing consistently. This principle applies directly to any area of financial education or skill development necessary for building wealth. If you genuinely don't understand investing, you can learn. If you struggle with budgeting, you can improve. This fundamental belief in your capacity for transformation and continuous improvement is the key to sustained progress in your financial journey and in life.
Believing you can grow. And finally, 10. Develop a vibe mindset to elicit desired emotions. This sounds almost mystical, but I imagine it has very practical applications.
It's not mystical at all, but deeply psychological. This exercise is about intentionally managing your emotions to align with those of successful, confident investors, feeling proud, tenacious, accomplished, and energized.
Feel it to be it?
Kind of. The saying, "feeling is the secret," captures this perfectly. When you consciously embody these desired emotions, you naturally start to act in ways that are consistent with them, fueling consistent investing behaviors and reinforcing positive financial habits.
Interesting.
And the story of Darius Foro, the author of The Stoic Path to Wealth, really highlights this powerful connection. His initial belief in quick wealth, which he held after getting a job at ING Bank, dramatically shifted when he faced significant personal losses during the brutal 2008 financial crisis.
Back to that crucible moment.
Right. Through that experience, he learned that successful investing is not merely about market knowledge or analysis, but profoundly about effectively managing one's own emotional landscape. This profound realization is what led him to actively apply Stoic principles to his investment strategy, directly connecting the mastery of his emotions to the improvement of his financial outcomes.
Wow. It all connects mindset, emotion, action. Speaking of consistency, the Stoic path emphasizes that investing is not something you do occasionally. It's a way of life. So, given all we've discussed about mindset and environment, what does this consistent, disciplined approach truly look like in practice for an investor?
This concept of consistency is absolutely foundational to long-term financial success, and the Stoic Path to Wealth provides clear, actionable guidance. It fundamentally asserts that most investors fail, not due to a lack of market knowledge or intelligence, but rather a critical lack of consistent action and emotional discipline.
The knowing-doing gap.
Precisely. The first Stoic law of consistency is to 1. Start small. The idea here is to begin investing with genuinely small amounts. This allows you to gradually familiarize yourself with the natural, often unsettling market fluctuations without risking significant capital or triggering panic. It builds confidence incrementally.
Dip your toe in.
Exactly. The source cites the inspiring example of Geraldine Weiss, famously known as the First Lady of Wall Street, who, despite immense gender biases in her era, built her successful investment advisory service by focusing on this very principle: disciplined, consistent practice, starting with prudent, manageable steps from the very beginning.
That makes perfect sense. Ease into it to build comfort and experience. What's the next critical step for consistent investing once you've dipped your toe in?
The second law is to 2. Make it automatic. This is where behavioral economics and Stoicism truly intersect. Automating your investments, setting up regular, recurring contributions, perhaps monthly or biweekly, effectively removes the emotional decision-making from the process entirely.
Set it and forget it.
To a degree, yes. This directly supports Investopedia's advice on automating savings and investing, as it bypasses the present bias we discussed earlier, making the long-term, consistent action much, much easier. It also powerfully addresses the paradox of choice by simplifying the decision to just start and make it automatic. perhaps by simply choosing a broad S&P 500 index fund,
Keep it simple.
which is widely recommended for beginners in the wealth accumulation phase due to its diversification and low cost. You dramatically reduce analysis paralysis and the temptation to overthink or procrastinate. The inherent message here is to simplify, automate, and commit.
Okay, simple and automatic. And the final law for building this stoic habit of consistent investing.
The third is to 3. Invest with money you can do without for a long time. This is a crucial principle for maintaining emotional composure. It means the funds you allocate for investment should be truly discretionary. They should not be money you anticipate needing for immediate expenses or within the short to medium term.
Don't invest your rent money.
Definitely not. This powerfully reinforces Investopedia's advice on having a sufficient emergency fund in place before you begin significant investing. By preparing for market volatility with a separate, robust emergency fund, you ensure that you aren't forced to panic sell your investments at a loss during downturns.
So you can ride out the storm.
Precisely. This mental preparedness allows you to maintain your composure, ride out the inevitable storms, and let your investments grow over the long term, unaffected by short-term needs. The overarching message, consistent with Stoic wisdom, is to ignore the noise of daily market fluctuations and stay rigorously focused on your long-term frameworks, realizing that short-term volatility is a normal, expected part of the investment journey.
And this unwavering commitment to consistent, long-term action, even when others around you are panicking, truly connects back to developing and trusting your own well-informed judgment.
Exactly. The journey of legendary investor Stanley Druckenmiller, for instance, powerfully shows how crucial it is to trust your own well-informed judgment, a judgment rooted in logic and deep analysis, rather than mere luck or external opinion.
Even with famous mentors.
Right. Even while mentored by the highly influential George Soros, Druckenmiller realized the absolute importance of asserting his own independent judgment after experiencing conflicts and diminished performance when he was swayed by external opinions that contradicted his own analysis. This highlights that while learning from others, especially successful mentors, is incredibly valuable, ultimately, your significant financial decisions need to be rooted in your understanding and your strategic convictions, not simply imitation or emotional reactions.
Trust yourself, but do the work first.
Absolutely. Think about Jack Bogle, the visionary founder of Vanguard. He famously didn't amass billionaire wealth for himself, reportedly being worth a comfortable but not astronomical $80 million at his passing, precisely because he focused instead on enabling investor returns for millions of others through low-cost index funds.
He prioritized impact over personal billions.
He did. He lived by a profound principle of having enough, focusing his efforts on impact and integrity rather than endless personal accumulation. This exemplifies how a truly stoic approach to wealth, prioritizing peace of mind and long-term societal impact over boundless accumulation, can lead to immense contentment and profound success, ultimately enabling your money to truly work for you rather than you perpetually working for your money. #outro.
Wow. Today, we've embarked on a truly illuminating deep dive into the fascinating, intricate world of financial decision-making. We've explored the profound impact of your inner mindset, from the expansive possibilities of an abundance mindset to the constricting fears of scarcity, and how subtle yet powerful behavioral biases like present bias and availability heuristics can quite subtly but effectively derail your best-laid plans.
Sneaky little things.
They are. We also thoroughly unpacked how your external environment, from social pressures and peer influence to the broader economic conditions and even family money beliefs, shapes your entire financial journey. But most importantly, we armed you with practical, actionable steps, from the fundamentals of earning and saving to the critical strategies of investing and managing debt, all while seeing how ancient Stoic wisdom and modern insights on consistency can be integrated to build genuine, lasting financial resilience and peace of mind.
It's clear that building true wealth isn't just about crunching numbers on spreadsheets or meticulously following market charts. It's deeply, fundamentally personal.
So personal.
It's about knowing yourself, understanding your impulses, and making deliberate, intentional choices that align with your deepest values. It is undoubtedly a marathon, not a sprint, but one where every mindful, informed step you take genuinely counts and builds towards a more secure future. So what does all of this mean for you as you move forward from this deep dive?
Yeah, that's the key question. This raises an important, deeply personal question for you to ponder as you reflect on this conversation. In a world saturated with constant financial advice, endless consumption messages, and often unpredictable market volatility, if true wealth is ultimately about achieving a profound sense of peace of mind alongside financial stability.
Which is a great goal.
Right. The liberating ability to let your money work for you rather than constantly trading your precious time and energy for money. What single mental shift or practical step will you prioritize this very week to align your financial decisions with your deepest values and your most meaningful long-term vision?
And as a final thought, consider the ancient story of King Midas, who famously wished for and received the power to turn everything he touched into gold, only to find profound despair when he couldn't enjoy his loved ones or even basic nourishment.
Be careful what you wish for.
Exactly. This timeless tale, echoed powerfully in the Stoic path to wealth, serves as a poignant reminder that true freedom and enduring happiness are not simply about accumulating more and more material wealth. It's about cultivating a profound sense of enough and consciously making your money serve your life's purpose, passions, and peace, rather than your life serving the relentless pursuit of more money.
So as you reflect on this deep dive, ask yourself, what does enough truly look like for you, and how can your very next financial decision bring you closer to that profound sense of contentment and peace?